So guys, before I kick the video off right quick, I've been having a lot of people hit me up, asking me for my social media, my Instagram, Twitter, and all that stuff. I'm not really on there anymore, man. Social media, like I don't do that no more. People hit me up with fake profiles, send me all types of just like trolling stuff, death threats, all that stuff, and on the social media from these fake accounts. So I'm not on there anymore. But I'm gonna do something real crazy. I had given out my email like about a year ago. But that was like bringing up a lot of the same problems, man. So I'm going to do something really crazy, man. And I'm actually giving you guys a phone number for people that want to send information, people that want interviews. I've been having some people hitting me up for interviews. And I'm going to try to get around to those, probably be getting more of those. We're supposed to be having some kind of warm days next week. And by warm, I mean 40s. But yeah, I do have a couple of those interviews lined up, man. But anybody that wants those, you can hit me up like this. And this way, I have more of a way to verify it because there's going to be a phone number behind it. So I'm going to drop that as a comment on this video and as a and in the description box. Now, so anyways, getting onto this video. The following information that I'm about to tell you guys is coming from the homies, I'll say, inside Cook County Jail. Okay, so this information is not official. It's not from the police. Okay, and I always say on the channel, if you don't hear it from the police, don't believe it 100%. I'm not saying that the people who are telling me this are not solid. They are solid, but you can't, it's not set in stone. I'll say that. But this is coming from inside Cook County Jail. And this is something I need to clear up because, I was one of the main ones who had, been putting this information out about these two guys years ago. So the first one that I'll get to is that Bang the Hitter from the north side of Chicago's PBG GD faction, okay, insane cutthroats, Farwell and Ashland. He has beaten his murder case. Now, Bang, one of like PBG's, most well-known members. He was a rapper. He was very active on social media, man. So the police and he had a lot of run-ins, okay, and he had a lot of run-ins with these other gangs. And that PBG is into it with. I'm not going to go through all that in this video, the whole breakdown of it, but because I've done that time and time again. But he was charged with murdering Deshaun from Hula Gang. Okay, now before I get to the details of that case specifically, I just want to let you guys know real quick. The other thing that I'm going to talk about in this video is that PBG Spaz, okay, who was another homie of Young Pappy, younger. Bang was older than Pappy. Spaz was a little bit younger. Spaz, reportedly, from what the guys are saying inside there, has also beaten his murder case and could be coming home in a couple years. Murder case, apparently, for killing the guy, who was, I don't know, talking about Young Pappy on Facebook. Spaz has apparently beaten that. And apparently the evidence in both of these cases actually is not that strong. It was, the cops were going to try and depend on certain information that really wasn't that solid. So let me get to the details of this. For those of you guys who are new to the channel and new to this scene. So one of the most well-known gangs on the north side of Chicago is a faction of Gangster Disciples off of Ashland and Farwell. Their territory is kind of like over on Morris too. But it's called Insane Cutthroats. That's like the real name of their set. They also go by PBG. That's probably a more well-known acronym, which stands for Pooh Bear Gang. One of their homies, Anton Pooh Bear Sanders, got killed, and then they named the gang after him. They also go by several other names, for several other homies that they lost. Basically, all the gangs around them are into it with them. Loke City GDs are into it with them. That's just to the north. The Kings off of Clark Street are into it with them. And they're also into it with some of the gangs from the Uptown neighborhood, mainly the Four Corner Hustlers. They mainly, rose to prominence due to the rap scene. They got like 7 or 8 rappers. So, back in the day when I first started my channel, I had stayed on their block for a while, and I had worked at the high school where they went, Sullivan. So, I was well acquainted with some of their older members, not them personally, the younger generation, but some of the guys who now are in like their 30s. So, when they started to rap and stuff, I was like really trying to put them on. That's a decision that I kind of regret now because it was mainly all just like that drill music stuff. But, I was trying to interview them, but then things went left due to a series of events that involved some other people that I can't really speak on in this video. But basically it came to the point where I started threatening them. And then, they just came back and were going back and forth with me. And Bang was like one of the main ones that I was kind of into it with. And, we kind of squashed that though, really. I mean, I talked to Chemo and, some of the other members like behind the scenes, and they were like, we're not really tripping anymore at this point. Lil Sean, their other homie, is still locked up. They got a lot of members actually that are locked up. But so Bang was eventually charged. He was one of the most well-known guys, but he was eventually charged in 2018 with the murder of a guy named Deshaun from Hula Gang. Now, Hula Gang was a gang that they previously were clicked up with. Well, actually, first they were into it with them. Then they clicked up with them. Pappy was from the neighborhood of a gang called TFG, which is clicked up with PBG. And TFG's from Uptown, okay? And TFG is like literally right next to Hula Gang. So Pappy, he went to Sullivan though, okay? And that's not like the closest high school to TFG's hood. It's the closest high school to PBG's hood. So he went to Sullivan, and why he went to Sullivan and not to a high school closer by him, I don't know. But he started going to high school over there and, got acquainted with the PBG members. Well, that all fell apart after an incident at which a guy was killed, I think at a funeral on the far south side. And the exact sequence of events that led to his death, I don't know. But after that, for a while, it was like, it wasn't war, but they were like on kind of tense terms. Some of the members were still hanging out together, but some of them weren't. And then it eventually just fell apart into like all out war. And now for a while, that was like one of the hottest wars on the north side. PBG and Hula Gang. Okay. So Hula Gang also goes by High City, Wicked City. That whole situation, has been bad since. And, Bang, was charged with killing a Hula Gang member after Pappy was killed. Now, Pappy was not killed by Hula Gang, and Hula Gang, by the way, is not GDs. Loke City and PBG are GDs. Day World is also GDs, and PBG was into it with Loke City and Day World. But Hula Gang is Stones, and Stones and GDs, going back from when I was growing up, they were always enemies. What I'm saying? They were never getting along, but. CWB Chicago at the time of Bang's arrest said, quote, he's been shot at, jailed, and imprisoned. Now the Northside rapper known as Bang the Hit is charged with murder. Chicago police, they said this afternoon, confirmed that the 27-year-old named Keith Hare has been arrested and charged with one felony count of murder in connection with the November 2017 killing of an 18-year-old named Deshaun in Uptown. So Bang at this point is in his like early to mid 30s. But they said shortly after 6 p.m. on November 13th, Deshaun was gunned down over by Leland and Racine. His body was found lying amongst more than 30 shell casings that stretched for 2 city blocks. He was pronounced dead less than an hour later at the hospital. So at the time, the Uptown alderman said, quote, I spoke with Deshaun many times in the past. He was counted among the youth at high risk for getting killed. He had a custom notification to try to turn his life around. How terribly sad. So that was what the alderman of that ward said. And they said he was a member of the Hula Gang sect of the Black Pea Stones street gang. So about an hour before he was killed, Deshaun had posted his final status update on Facebook, and it said, quote, G got these hoes, love to die with the gang. So less than 2 weeks before Deshaun was killed, this same media outlet, CWB Chicago, which stands for Crime in Wrigleyville and Boys Town, they cover a lot of the stuff that's going on in East Rogers Park, had reported that Bang had been arrested in Lakeview after police allegedly saw him run from a van that was used to transport the victims of a shooting that occurred on November 1st to the hospital. So as the victims walked into the hospital, police found the Dodge minivan in the 1000 block of West Wellington, about a block from the hospital's emergency room entrance. Bang jumped from the van and ran from the scene, according to police. He was arrested moments later on a warrant. Shell casings were found inside the van and in the 3000 block of North Sheffield, which is over by like Sheffield and Wellington, but no gun was recovered. Okay, now that is not anywhere near Hula Gang's territory. Just so you guys know, and this is not even in East Rogers Park. This is like the Lakeview neighborhood, which is a neighborhood that you guys have seen in a lot of my videos. That's actually the neighborhood where I live right now. And it's about, it's like 40 blocks south of East Rogers Park. So we're talking not even close. So no gun was recovered. No charges were ever filed in the case. But on August 16th of 2017, Bang the Hitter also was shot himself in Uptown. Okay, now he was shot twice on March 28th in the 1300 block of West Estes in Rogers Park, that's very close to PBG's like main block. So the details of like the exact evidence they had on him in the murder of Deshaun was scant at best. So they really didn't have enough evidence to charge him with that. And to be honest with you, I'm not even sure that he's the one that did it. So they said he's a reputed member of the Gangster Disciple Street Gang, and he's associated with the Far North Side's PBG faction. I already told you guys that. So that was really all they had on him. Okay, so they got him in there, and they didn't have enough. He beat the case. Looks like he could be coming back down pretty soon, man. So all the information that you got, about that, you have to take that with a grain of salt too, even if it's coming from police, no matter what the source is. Yeah, that doesn't fly in court, just the suspicion, just the fact that, it's circumstantial evidence, it doesn't fly. And I'm not even sure that they had circumstantial evidence in this case. So anyways, man, getting on to the next story, so about Spaz. This is from the summer of 2016. They said a Rogers Park teen, and I showed a bunch of Spaz's, like I showed like the location where he allegedly did this, his high school, all that kind of stuff. I was doing this a lot back in back when I was first starting the channel. But they said a Rogers Park teenager shot a man because he didn't like the comments that the man made about the recently slain rapper Young Pappy on Facebook, according to Cook County prosecutors. So just 4 days after the rapper, whose real name was Shaquan Thomas, was gunned down in Uptown, PBG Spaz, who was 17, allegedly shot a guy named Clifton over the remarks that Clifton made about the rapper on the social media site. So according to the assistant state's attorney, they didn't say when or what the 22-year-old Clifton had written on Facebook, but Clifton was currently in critical condition at that point at the hospital, and he was on a ventilator and was unresponsive. So Spaz apparently had gotten a ride to the Rogers Park neighborhood, where I don't know if he was living there himself at the time, but anyways, he got a ride over there on June 1st, and Spaz then accosted Clifton while he was walking in the 7600 block of North Ashland. And the other guy, the getaway driver, had parked near an alley. And Spaz, again, they don't know if he's the one that shot or not. They don't have enough evidence. But about 4 shots rang out. And then Spaz ran back into the car. And there's a lot of cameras over there with a gun following the shooting. So the shots rang out, and then Spaz is running back towards the car with a gun. The car dropped him off near Glenwood and Pratt. And this is all on surveillance video. Surveillance video captured Spaz while armed, running from an alley toward Clifton and shooting. Okay, and the footage also caught the license plate with the car that Spaz was in. So Spaz was arrested that Tuesday after police officers saw him leave an Albany Park apartment and get into a car. They followed and arrested him over by like about a block east of Pulaski off of Montrose. So at that particular time, Spaz was a sophomore at Truman High School. And he was also, they said, and allegedly a member of the Insane Cutthroat Gangsters, a faction of the Gangster Disciples, according to the arrest report. So the judge ordered him held in lieu of $1 million bail for attempted murder and aggravated battery with a firearm. They said Young Pappy was the 19-year-old had previously been the intended target in at least 2 shootings that left bystanders dead before he was finally killed on May 29th. So that was what they said about the murder that Spaz allegedly had committed at that time. And at the time they first reported it, it wasn't a murder because Clifton was hanging out in the hospital for a while. So, after Spaz was charged with murder, that was the evidence that they allegedly had, but apparently that wasn't enough. Okay, apparently that wasn't enough because there's no way to prove that Spaz was the guy on the camera, I guess. That area is a very violent area. Okay, there are shootings taking place there all the time. That's full of gangbangers that, look very similar to Spaz physically. And so if you don't have a clear shot of the face, it's hard to prove that it was him. So that was like all they had. And the case apparently is falling apart. So when he's going to be coming home, I don't know. It does not look like he's going to be doing, the time that would be done for a murder charge. So him, Bang, both could be coming back down. I don't know when, but you know, probably within 5 years, I'd say, from the stuff that I'm hearing. So that's what we got, man. You know, I had put the information out about those incidents at the time, and so, you know, if their names have been cleared, it's my duty to put that out there now. That's what's coming from inside Cook County Jail, man. Your boy, we didn't see the report. I'm out.